Two.
Meet Dave of Delusions of Grandeur, actor, producer, and director of films like Tales of the Forgotten. He has come to assemble a team of freaks, geeks, and even worse, film nerds, to discuss films ranging from mainstream to downright crazy. There is Tammy car enthusiast and Dave's fiance, Dustin reptile expert and overall horror collector, Jake environmentalist and fine art film critic, and finally Brandon, a therapist with a love of film that can only be seen as insanity. Together under Dave's leadership, they are inside movies galore. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
To heal. Alrighty. Let's see. There we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts. But today we are going to be going on about a film that has been around since it was filmed in 1985. But it is based on a science fiction novella by the writer Barry B. Longyear, and it was originally published in the September 1979 issue of Isaac Asimov's science fiction magazine. The novella's plot concerns two soldiers, one human and one reptilian-like alien, who finds themselves stranded together on a hostile planet. Which is probably fairly similar to our story here. But let me see what IMDb says about the film before we go too much. And I hear typing.
Actually, you're not hearing typing. I'm doing something else.
All right. Well, I can still hear it, whatever it is. During a long space war, the lives of two wounded enemies become dependent on their ability to forgive and to trust. Now, it is directed by Wolfgang Peterson, which, do either one of you know which movie this comes from? Or which movie we've already covered that this director has already done?
Actually, I'm not sure. I'm sorry.
Well, I told Tammy before we came on. Do you know which one?
What was that question again?
The director. We've already covered a movie by this director. Which movie is that?
Was that the Never Ending?
Yep, The Never-Ending Story.
Ah!
The Never-Ending
Nice.
Story was directed by Wolfgang Peterson. And this, the screenplay for this was put together by the original writer of the story, Barry Longyear, along with Edward Kamara. And the film stars Dennis Quaid, Louis Gossett Jr., and Brian James, among many others. So, let's get into first impressions. Was this a first-time watch for you, Boris?
Yes and no. Actually, a while ago I saw a part of it on TV, but this is the first time I watched it from the beginning to the end.
Okay.
and it was fairly interesting. Although the whole first part of it with the Jerry character was a little, how do I say, uh, the whole part was a little depressing with them just struggling to survive and the whole atmosphere being the way it was, but it got quite exciting when the little Drac was born.
Okay. And is that pretty much your first impressions then of
Mm,
this movie then?
well, what else could I say for the beginning?
Okay. Heading over
It
to you.
okay.
Is that all that you want to say for your first impression?
Well, I was also going to say they did put quite a bit of effort into developing the language of the Dracs and all that. I have to give them that.
Well, yeah, especially since this is only based on the first story dealing with it. I'm actually quite curious because the original writer he wrote two sequel stories to this. I'm curious as to
Oh,
how much more he added to the story. So they wrap it up in like one movie, but you know, uh, but
yeah.
in any case, um, Tammy, was this a first time watch for you?
No, definitely not. But I honestly don't remember when I watched it the first time because it was quite a long time ago. Um,
Yeah.
I know I remember the first time I watched it. I wasn't I wasn't too sure what to think of the Drac. He was just kind of. I remember I thought that he was just really strange looking.
Well, he was an alien. What do you expect? Teddy bear in a car.
Yeah, but I've watched it several times since, so he's still here.
They sounded like ducks when they laughed. Sorry.
Yeah,
Well,
I think that is something they did good with the Drac character is when he
well,
wanted.
Dave, you laughing that way remind me of Ernie from the Sesame Street.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It was like in between like an Ernie laugh and a duck quacking. So in between there, you've got the you if you can do the Ernie laugh along with the duck quacking and mix the two,
Uh,
I'm sure you'll get the way the Drax laughed.
Interesting.
But in any case, um, I'm not sure when I actually first watched this. I think my mom taped it to VHS, and believe it or not, my mom, being all Christian the way almost, she was very strong in her Christian beliefs. Let's put it that way. So when she said that this was one of her favorite science fiction movies, that kind of surprised me.
But why? There is nothing offensive to Christianity in this movie, as far as I could see.
I know, but still, the way that she portrayed herself to me growing up, the fact that she likes this movie or could like it was kind of beyond me, because with as stiff as her beliefs were in God, um, believing in anything alien or liking anything alien would have been been beyond her religious beliefs. So
Ah,
So that's why I am always surprised when I mention Enemy Mine to my mom, and she always says that that's one of her favorite movies.
Huh, interesting. Well, well, yeah, some Christians really are like there are no
One
aliens in the Bible,
very
therefore every
close-minded, very close-minded. If you're um if your brain has been focused onto the Bible and the law behind the Bible and the beliefs behind it, you know.
yeah, like that song, give me that old time
It doesn't
religion.
mean that doesn't, yeah.
Sorry.
That old time religion, yes. Unfortunately, it doesn't exactly paint Christians in a very good light. That is for sure. But we find out that the Drax have an interesting religion as well. So
Oh yeah, yeah, actually, kind of the same stuff that Jesus was preaching, just a different name.
Shizma.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, all right. So the film is narrated, and I think it was originally narrated by Dennis Quaid, but it says Tom Baker actually, who I believe Baker was very much of the Doctor Who series. Um, so having it narrated by Tom Baker is kind of interesting. I remember him uh, showing up in the BBC renditions of C.S. Lewis's work. Um, uh, Specifically, I think he played Puddleglum in um, the Sixth Chair, which I wonder if he played anything else on the C.S. Lewis stuff. That's the Chronicles of Narnia. Um, Tom Baker narrated this, and we get that there is a battle going on between two races. Um, I'm not sure if there are any other alien races that are mentioned in this other than the Drax. But that's the name of the race, and they are at war with each other. And according to Dennis Quaid's character, it's always been the Drax who started it first. But then again, um, the same could be said about the humans. So, in a sense, it's almost as if um, the writer is talking about the way the humans were towards the American Indians
Okay.
on Earth, except it's now in space.
Well, it is kind of similar, yeah.
Because the as the film goes on, the Drac, which they eventually call him Jerry, who is played by Louis Gossett Jr. Eventually, he explains that they were explorers and they were here first.
Uh, yes.
I mean, but we'll get into that in a moment. So it looks like the enemy is the Drax, who come with their ship fighters to the spaceship in which uh, Willis Darvich and a co-pilot of his ends up going in with a squadron of other ships, and I would say there are at least two other ships that go and attempt to destroy these ships that are coming their way. And one thing I noticed is that there was a female leader pilot and a female co-pilot pilot or whatnot in the two other ships. You know, there was a female that was assisting, and there was a female that was piloting one of the ships. At least from what I saw, so that was different. You don't often see women in a leading role at this point in time. They weren't exactly driving towards what should I say, diversity back in the 80s yet entirely.
Yeah.
So that is something that was ahead of its time, I think. What do you think, Tammy? Do you think that that was something that was not exactly portrayed a lot at this point in time, where females took lead roles? Well, not lead roles like that, but pilot where they put them in like pilot roles. Tammy, are you there, Tammy?
Tammy.
I think we lost her.
Tammy. Tammy. Tammy.
Tammy, can you hear us?
By the way,
But you're on mute.
Yes. By the way, I've
There it
just
goes.
made the.
There it goes.
Okay.
It like all froze up.
Ah.
So
Okay.
what was it?
But
Okay. So I was talking about how there. I swear there was a female pilot and a female co-pilot. It's not often that you see females or getting roles as pilots in the 80s.
No,
What do you think about that? Do you think that was like ahead of its time, having the diversity like it did?
I think it was just a way to maybe relate to more people.
Okay.
So
Alrighty. Well, in
no,
any case,
either way, it wasn't a very big role.
no, it wasn't, but still, I don't think I often saw females in like fighter jets. Like you don't see. The only person that I actually saw in a leadership like role was Princess Leia in Star Wars. You know, no other female, at least in the original Star Wars, seemed to have a fighter pilot thing going on. It was all like a male industry, you know. And I think that that was the way it was a lot of times over over science fiction movie genre. Although you did see some females take leads, like like in the original Lost in Space, wasn't the mother like a pilot of some sort? And that was like from the 60s. So, but I guess it's been kind of back and forwards over time in the science fiction realm of things. I just don't remember seeing a whole lot of females and a whole lot of trajectory roles as pilots or captains or airplane pilots or space shuttle pilots or whatnot. It was not a big thing. So I know I'm centering on that a bit because I just don't think it was hugely popular. But as a futuristic type thing, I think it was plausible. But we have Willis as a pilot, and he's not exactly listening to his co-pilot.
True.
They, in fact, go after a Drac ship that has destroyed one of their own that I believe was piloted by a female. Which is why I mentioned it because that ship, their ship, was blown up. So he ends up tailing it, hitting it, seeing a pod escape from it, and then crash landing on the planet below. And he, in his infinite wisdom, then goes and tries to find that pod and that Drac. And initially, he tries to kill it. And then eventually, I guess over time, over many arguments, they begin to learn each other's language. And originally, he was handcuffed and tied, but then because of the elements of the outside, because there are meteor showers every so often on the planet, they have to eventually learn to trust each other. And what do y'all think about that initial meeting between them two? Boris, what did you think about the alien and the human, the Drac and the human when
Well,
they initially meet?
truth be told, the Drac was surprisingly merciful regarding the fact that the human attacked him first.
True.
Mm, yeah, it was actually interesting that he was willing to feed the human and keep him alive in spite of the human trying to kill him beforehand.
True. So, Tammy, what did you think about the initial meeting of the two, human and Drac?
Well, we know the human was definitely hell bent on killing the Drac. I mean, he was so, burn, 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 and when he started
He was
releasing,
definitely for killing him, bent on killing him at first.
and then
So
Yeah,
when he was getting zapped by touching the Drax
ship.
pod, then and the and and the Drac did, he did basically imprison him by tying him up, but
It
and
also prevented him from attempting anything more against him.
right, but he could, and he was totally vulnerable then. The Drac could have killed him right then and there.
yes.
Instead of tying him up, he could have just killed him right then and there. So yeah, I mean, that kind of says something about the Drac, because he, you know, he he could have, killed him and been done with it right then and there. He didn't have to tie him up, and and I think, well, he ends up calling him Jerry. I think Jerry was, in his language, was trying to explain to him, you know, um, about the Drax, and I think, and because it seemed like he was yelling at him, but he couldn't understand what he was saying. Willis couldn't understand because it was in Drax language. You know, the
Yeah.
initial communication between them is like really intense, because it's like they're both yelling at each other, but in their in the human language and the Drac language, they don't even understand each other.
Well, yeah, because they both speak a different language, and he doesn't know how much English this Drac knows. So, and
But I do think it was interesting that he tried to feed him, and I don't know what that thing is that he gave him, but it was when he took a bite of that, I was like, oh yeah.
slimy, yet satisfying.
It looks slimy. I don't know how satisfied he was, but it looks slimy.
And I like how the Drac, Jerry, spit at that moment, like he was trying to make him spit it out, but he was stomaching it.
Yeah. How do you like how Jerry ate those like green ball like things? It was just like, ugh.
It was like him eating nutsacks. Alien nutsacks or something like that.
But yeah, their first initial face
Of
to
course,
face.
it was green, so I was thinking Soylent Green.
Yeah, their first initial meeting was really intense.
Oh yeah.
And Willis had no problem, toad face and all the different
Oh
things.
yeah.
All the different things he came up with calling him. It was just like
Dog face.
I remember that one the most. But yeah,
Froghead was another one.
Yeah, he had a whole slew of them, man.
Yeah, you got to admit that there is some humor in him calling him names, even though I know it's almost like racial slurring, in a sense.
Yes.
But they eventually, Willis mentions to Jerry that they got to move to higher ground. Oh, and the first time they crash land onto the planet, there is a turtle like looking thing with a shell that gets eaten by this thing in a pit, and they show that right offhand before they even show the crash landed victims.
Actually, true.
So after they realize that they've got to move to higher ground, and Willis is actually intent on trying to build them a shelter. And the first time he builds that shelter, the Drac is not doing a damn thing to lift and help him. And when he gets it finally made, he shows the amount of English that he has learned so well, and he calls it shit or sheet. It looks like sheet.
Yeah, actually, there was some good humor here and there throughout the movie.
Well, yeah, because then Willis is like, "What do you mean?" And he walks over and he kicks it twice. It's sturdy, and he comes back over by Jerry. And a few minutes later, the whole thing collapses.
And that's when you hear the Drac laugh for the first time, and that's funny as hell. So he rebuilds it, and
Well, he rebuilds it after that thing that tried to eat that thing that ate the turtle, like kind of thing. He rebuilds
well,
it after that because he realizes the shells um, that the meteors will not penetrate those shells. So
oh yeah, that's right.
yeah, so
They
he gets attacked by that thing, and Jerry saves him. But
and
while he's sitting there recuperating, he's got that shell, and that's when he realizes, hey, you know.
well,
But
yeah,
Jerry still
and
isn't any help with rebuilding it either.
no, he is not. But um, also, when he gets attacked by that thing, he calls to Jerry, and Jerry actually saves him. So after that he is really thankful that he saved his life, and he had called him. He They were sitting at the fire and reciting some English, and this is a cute moment because he's like, "This is my left foot. This is my right foot. This is my left hand. This is my right hand, and this is my head." And Willis is like, "That is your ugly head." "No, this is my head, and that is your ugly head." That's so when he saves him, and he's like, "Well," uh, and Jerry is like, "Well, maybe, I would like to see your ugly face. And even though you have ugly face, that thing had much more ugly face."
Wow, when did you learn to imitate it so accurately?
I've seen this movie a lot. But every time I watch it again, I really get into it, because ultimately, I kind of like the alien race of the Drax, especially when he starts teaching him the ways, and he's like, he's got no one else to teach except him, you know. So he becomes the master, and he becomes the student. So it's almost like he's now become Mr. Miyagi to to Willis, and so he teaches him the Drac language, and he teaches him about how important it is to remember the lineage of your people, the line of his people, and
well,
how important it is to remember those who came before you.
Willis taught him some interesting stuff too.
Oh yeah, he taught him some interesting stuff as well, but eventually there comes a moment where they fight with each other, and he tells him about this dream that he's been having about a ship, and they start like acting like a married couple between the two of them. They fight like a married couple, and that's when he's like, I think we're going crazy, and I keep having this dream that I've been having about a ship, and I've got to go. I've got to go explore and see what it is, because I swear to God, this dream is becoming is it's happening to me every night. So
Well, well, before that, before they have that big fight, he's trying to understand Jerry's religion, and Jerry's trying to explain it, because they are starting to learn each other's language, and then Jerry gives them that,
little
like,
book.
what that little book of what he's basically reading on the necklace. And so that's when Willis really becomes interested in, what it says, and learning it. And it definitely sounds like a lot of what is in Jerry's little book is, and Willis realizes this, is not a whole lot different than our Bible.
Yeah, except it's much smaller, and I wonder how much text can really be contained in that thing.
Well, yeah, it's just the idea though that this alien race that everybody's that the humans are fighting against is actually really not that much different, and it's kind of like, and they have the same thoughts and the same ideas, and you know it
Well,
just
actually,
it just goes to show that you know somebody made a mistake somewhere along the line to make them enemies, but they really shouldn't be enemies. You know?
well, one thing I did find a little bizarre about this whole story is that at the very beginning they say there is peace on earth, humans aren't fighting each other anymore, which makes you think humans have reached some higher level of consciousness, which should in turn also mean that they won't be attacking aliens for no reason either, yet they do.
Well, like I said, somewhere along the line, somebody screwed up that started this. You know?
Yeah.
So I didn't know this, but I guess the UK cinema version had been shortened by the distributors before release, following negative reviews in the US, and then cut by 27 seconds by the BBFC for a PG certification, with edits made to separate. Oh, the severed ear sequence. The cuts were restored to the 1987 15 rated video release, and the full US version was released on DVD in 2002. So evidently the severed ear made it more gorier, and somebody got some penis up their butt and decided to yeah
Pretty much.
take it to the editing floor, so that it could. I don't understand that, but I guess the severed ear was too much to stomach for some people. But in any case, that being said, that'll come later, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I was just reading up on stuff that I didn't know. But okay, so where are we? So the Jerry was teaching him the Drac language, and the he was trying to teach him what the books said, and ultimately, the little tiny book evidently said a lot.
And Willis made him think that the human big religious teacher was Mickey Mouse.
Yep, because ultimately, well, yeah, he kind of let him believe that one of the things that he had said was related to something that he learned from Mickey Mouse, and they both said different things about Shizma and making a mouse to make each other believe that they were disrespecting each other's religions. And later they it was Jerry who first apologized and
Yeah,
said
which
that he
he
did not
really
mean.
shouldn't because Willis insulted him first.
Yeah, true, but
It's
he
just
was the
funny
one.
that Willis would pick Mickey Mouse. You know,
Well,
Well,
of
he
course.
it's
said he had learned that saying, if you don't succeed at first, try again. He said he had learned that from Mickey Mouse, which was maybe true.
well,
Well, yeah, but he, that's what brought some of the humor to it, though, because we all know who Mickey Mouse is, but Jerry didn't know who Mickey Mouse was. Jerry
Yeah.
didn't even know
which is kind of funny because this movie was distributed by 20th Century Fox way before Disney actually owned 20th Century Fox. So uh,
Oh
to
shit,
have to
Disney
mention the mouse.
contaminated that too.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, but in any case, which is why I keep I saw some reference to a possibility that they are actually making a TV version of Enemy Mines or Enemy Mind and gonna stick it on Plus eventually, I guess. It's a
Oh.
possibility because they were looking at 20th century Fox like archives. But in any case, I guess we'll see whether they do anything with that or not. But okay, so they yeah they definitely have some interesting dialogue between each other, and so they make that I actually think they made up made up the thing that they were living in before oh wait, they did make that up, and then there was a meteor shower that happened, and they started fighting, and that's when they said the words of or wait, is this when no, that didn't happen yet. I believe that there was a moment where I was talking about where he had the dream of the ship, and he went off in search of this so-called ship, and he had to leave Jerry behind, and Jerry he thought was being lazy because he wasn't helping him with anything.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, it was never explained how it was possible that Willis saw a ship that actually existed, that he learned about its existence in a dream.
Well, he thought it was a dream.
Huh.
And it may be because of his spiritual enlightenment with the drag learning the Drax language that he might have actually got a telekinesis about what was going on. But when you're alone, sometimes times when you only have one other person, sometimes you get cabin fever,
Huh.
and I think that's kind of what happened with both of them. They were getting annoyed with with each other, like when Tammy and I have been together for days. Sometimes we just end up barking at each other for no freaking reason at all. We just end up arguing with each other, but because we've been together in the same house for days, and even though we love each other, we end up annoying each other because that's all. That's all we do. We're consistently around each other, right, Tammy?
I guess.
So that happens a lot with a lot of people, I think.
Oh yeah.
Even if you love the person that you're with, they can rub you the wrong way after days of being living with them, because you have your own sense of living, your own way of doing things, and if someone's sloppy and you're not, it's gonna bug the shit out of you, you know. So, but in any case, I think he just kept hearing the ships, and then that hearing the ships, then subconsciously he started to dream about it.
Huh, interesting.
If you if you have someone sleeping in a bed and you talk about something while they're sleeping, it's possible that their subconscious mind could pick that up and they could dream about something entirely different. It's been scientifically figured out that you can do something like that, and someone in their dreams can dream something with that which was talked about around them, you know. So,
Ooh.
But in any case, he goes off in search of the ship. He finds out that it's scavengers that are there, and scavengers are apparently humans that take Drax as slaves
Oh yes.
and uses them for mining purposes, which is very possible why it's called enemy mine. So, but
Huh, interesting. I didn't think of it that way.
in any case, that being, well, you could also see it possibly being called that because when I'm sure we'll get to that part when Zami is actually asks him about his parent, what is he like? Well, he was like my friend. So you could take it as the Drax were the enemies and zombies was his. After Jerry died, he became
Uncle.
Uncle.
Yes.
You know, which you could say that zombies became mine, Willis's. So as in zombies, you are mine. You are my kid now, or whatever. Because that's essentially what ends up happening. But we'll get to that in a moment. He comes back from scouting the scavenger ship, tells Jerry nothing, and they get into to it about why he didn't come with him. And he basically tells him that it's not because I was lazy or anything like that. He says a new life is is happening within him, and he's like, "Are you trying to tell me you're pregnant?" How can you do that to me?
Yeah, there was even a moment when he said, "Don't look at me."
Yeah.
You do realize what that was implying.
Yeah. Because it was implying that it was his. And he was like, "Don't look at me. How did this happen? Don't look at me. It's not
Yeah,
from me." And there's a moment where he it ends up actually telling him, and I thought this was interesting. There's a quote that he says. Let me go back to it if I can. Here we go. Quotes. In your heart, in your soul, you are alone. That is why you separated your sexes for that brief union. Eventually, he says something like that to him, but he also says something to the fact that that you know when you guys have children, you guys have a choice. We do not. In us, it just happens. So, how would you feel to be a being that no matter what, you'd get pregnant one day?
Who? It would be terrifying.
And that is without the actual doing of having sex or anything. You're just going to give birth one day, and you just know that it's going to happen one day. How would you feel?
Uh, uh, Actually, it would be pretty scary, especially if that means the responsibilities for that child are imposed on me whether I want it or not.
Yeah. Who's to say what kind of hairball would come out from that union? Anyways,
Oh
right?
my. Well, technically, if a child comes from one single parent, the DNA should be exactly the same, so it should be like a clone, I
Well, I,
guess.
I imagine that it's not going to come out the stomach in a human if it's a drag. It's going to come out the butthole. Anyways, uh, Tammy, what did you think about that when you learned that the Drac actually had no choice, that it was gonna happen no matter what?
Well, that part, yes, but he said there was something wrong, and so it's they don't, you know, we know, a little whatever alert, you know, Jerry Jerry doesn't live after the baby is born,
Correct, which is a very sad, which is
Unfortunately,
a
Willis,
very sad moment.
yes, Willis has got to help.
yes.
Willis basically takes the baby, out of
Which, to be
Jerry.
fair and honest, is kind of like that moment when Atreyu loses his horse too. You
Yeah,
know,
Oh,
but Willis takes the baby out, and it's like, you know, he realizes the miracle of this. Now, from the other thing you were saying is, if I found out that I could just get pregnant and I didn't have to do anything, I'd go fix the things down there so that didn't happen.
okay.
yeah.
And I'm just looking up the let's see, producers, composer, looking up, trying to see, okay, costume designer, makeup department. I was looking to see if I could find some special effects. Okay. Seeing if I knew anyone. One. There's a lot of people in the special effects thing, but I was trying to see if I recognized the
I'll
special
tell you
effects
what, though,
director.
little baby zombies was really cute.
Yeah, little
Oh,
baby
yes.
zombies was really cute. Really cute. I thought that that baby zombies was really cute.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I was expecting him to actually go get his knife and cut him open, but when he ripped it open with his bare hands, I was like, ugh, at first. He ripped the stomach open with his bare hands. I was like, that's even worse. He
Well,
didn't
that's
even
you
disinfect
know,
his hands or anything.
Oh, yes.
it was probably just a moment. He was trying to save the baby.
I know, but I know that he used to have a knife. So it was like, why couldn't you just use the knife? But I think it actually went better for him visually to just rip it open like caveman like. But little baby zombies, yeah, was so cute, and because it looked like the child was reaching up towards his face, and then it grabbed his hand, and it was so tiny.
Aw. Yeah, he was cute.
And I forgot to mention the fact that before he had to do this, that one of them thingies, which kind of reminds me of like a Tremors monster, except it's tongue thingy that comes out and wrapped itself around uh, Jerry's neck. Um, that's not a snake. It's more like it's venomous.
That's
Or
not a snake.
I know, but in Tremors, there's a monster that is like a big ass worm that has snakes that come out of its mouth with teeth that tend and tentacles to grab you under. You've never seen Tremors?
Uh, Wait, i- is that a movie?
Yeah.
Let's see. Tremors, 1990. Oh, actually, I think I haven't. I'm sorry.
Wow. Okay. Well, in any case, um, the creature that eventually pulls up out of the pit, the head of it kind of looks similar to Tremors monster, except this thing that wraps itself around the neck is not what comes out of a tremor. So, that being as said, they end up having to run from that, and they find a cave, and this cave actually looks kind of cool because it's got all kinds of like areas, and it's got an opening, and it's got an exit too. But it ends up being like a place that they can go for shelter during the cold winter moments. So I thought that was actually interesting.
It, it was. Uh,
You could still hear me, right?
yes, for a moment I lost you. I was wondering if it was an issue with my connection or something.
I didn't
No.
hear you either. So
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that happens when somebody calls me. My mom
Yeah.
was calling me.
Yeah, it called me too.
But
Something's up.
in any case, uh, basically, basically, okay, so they ended up being in this cave, having to get to this cave, and the cave is really cool. It's got all kinds of cool crevices, and there's an opening and a closing, an exit, and it ends up being a really cool place for them to hunker down for the rest of the winter. And it kind of sets them away from the monsters too, because it's all stone and rock and whatnot, not really dirt, you know. Um, and it ultimately becomes the place that Zombies kind of grows up into, and I guess he grows faster than a normal human boy too.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
and he teaches him about football.
We kind of know that he grows a little faster because, spoiler alert, when Willis ends up back with the humans, they say he's only been gone missing for 3 years. So
Yeah.
that tells you that zombies does grow a lot faster.
Yes.
Well, and Zombies is starting to ask questions about his parents and whatnot. And the first thing he teaches him about is football, which I thought that was a cool moment where he taught him about football, and he said that it was fun. He's like, "Yeah, it's a great sport, isn't it, kid?" Well,
Yeah, if that can be called real football.
well, it was as real as he could make it. But
Yeah.
in any case, ultimately, Zombies starts having more and more questions. And as kids do, there is one day where a ship ends up coming by, and he is scared, so he goes and tells Zombie to stay home, and he goes and checks it out. And he wants to be exactly like him, because there are moments where he's like, I want to have 5 fingers like you, Uncle. You
Oh.
know, and he's like, but you are a drac and I am a human, and that's probably goes to the fact that that he hasn't seen anyone like his kind, and when he comes back from checking out the ship and what's happening there, he comes back and tells them that they're scavengers, and he has questions, but he doesn't exactly answer them. He kind of like shrugs it off and tells him to shut up and sleep. But then the next day, Zombies is nowhere to be seen. So he runs and runs, and it seems as if, and you see that Zombies is actually gone to where that ship is, and Zombies, well, he gets seen, and by the time that Willis gets to him, he's able to kill the brother of this the captain of the slave mining ship. And Zombies can clearly see that others of his kind are being whipped uh, on the grounds near the mine and whatnot. So he stands in the way of these two, and uh, the one guy gets killed by Willis, but the other one kind of overpowers him and shoots him. And he tumbles down, and that's when you see his body show up at the initial space station that he initially came from, and they two soldiers or whatnot were trying to attempt to take the tiny metal book from his neck when he grabbed when Willis grabbed the throat of the one guy, and he is evidently speaking Drac while they realize that he has just become alive. And I like this part because it shows how many levels the space station has, because they take his body down an elevator to a bottom level, which is where they bring him back to life. And once he has been brought back to life, and he's been there a little bit, he is bound and determined to get back to that planet because of zombies. So he steals a ship, goes back to it, and you kind of have an Indiana Jones moment where he ends up standing up for some of the Drac miners, and he's speaking Drac to them. And of course, after he kills one of the slavers, which which shows the Dracs that he's on their side. They say, "Of course we know zombies. Your uncle, aren't you?" And the one old Drac, he says he knows where he might be, but he's somewhere inside the ship. So ultimately, Willis goes through. I think he kills a few people, a few of the miners, the slavers.
Yeah,
On
he disguises himself so he can get through. So
Yeah, he's got this old like fisherman's hat and trench coat on, and he walks through, and uh, ultimately he finds zombies in a caged up space beneath the floor, and he grabs them from it, but he is waylaid by the captain of the scavengers and a couple of his droogs, which I guess he lets them knock him down just a little bit. And when they drag him a little bit, a bit towards, he is ultimately able to escape, kill those guys, kill a couple more, but that guy, the captain or whatnot, I guess his name is Scuggs.
I forgot the name.
I guess his name is Scuggs or Scruggs or something like that. But
Maybe Squab. Just kidding.
Stubbs. That's his name. Played by Brian James. He ultimately is beating the heck out of him. But while this is happening, two other ships from the United Federal, whatever he's from, end up showing up, and at first the Dracs were going to attack them, but they were like, "Hold it, wait a minute," and then just as the scavenger dude is about to shoot Willis, he is shot and falls into to you know the fiery furnace of whatever mold or whatever is in the them things below. But um, he is able to bring zombies body out to the open, and at first you don't know what's going on because zombies isn't opening his eyes, but then suddenly he does, recognizes his uncle, and then I like the fact that zombie wakes up, hugs him, and you see old Drac is actually tearing up. It's kind of a teary moment, and then he the next thing you see is it looks like there's a ton of Dracs on a planet. It looks like some kind of a council, um, and it kind of looks like from a distance that it's Willis with zombies, and he's basically promised to bring him back to the Drac home to sing his song of lineage for
Right.
for
There's
him.
like a narrator that says, he fulfills his promise and that he's inducted. His name is, part of their thing now, and he even brings his own son eventually there. So the narrator says all that type of stuff.
Yep. So it pretty much wraps up what I believe what happens else in the novel, and that's pretty much the ending of the movie. So and of course I believe you hear Willis singing the lineage song in his gurgle of a version of the Drax. So I thought, uh, well, what did y'all think about the production of the film? Unless, is there a scene that I have missed that somebody wants to mention?
Ooh,
I thought they did a bang up job on the costume of the Drax and a look at building the world of what the Drax look like, at least.
oh yeah, and the landscape of their planet at the end, that was also very cool.
Yeah, I actually think they did a good world building of uh, showing you the other side, showing you the enemy is actually more human than humans are. You know, that kind of thing, where the enemy of my enemy is not my enemy,
Yeah.
or you know what I mean, Tammy, right?
Yeah.
So, what did you think about the production of this movie?
I thought it was it was good. I mean, you never would have guessed who was underneath all that stuff for the draft, the actor, you
Yeah,
know, because they did such a good job. It's just
Louis
you,
Gossett Jr.
you have to wonder when he took this role. I said that earlier. Did he realize how made up he was gonna be, and what he was gonna have to do talk and all that stuff like that. I think it was probably quite a challenge for him to be the Drac, which says a lot for his acting ability. So, but I think, yes. Besides the makeup of the Drac, I think they did pretty good. I mean, I thought the beginning with the fight, the ships fighting each other and everything was, I thought that looked a little cheesy. You know,
Yeah.
the firefight. You know, and the crash land. And you know when Willis's plane or whatever ship crash landed on the planet. I think that all looked a little cheesy, but this is this is from the 80s, you know.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
So, but I think other than that, I thought the effects and everything were really pretty good, and I thought that the costumes and you know how they made the Drax look and everything was really good, and you know even when um you know baby zombies was born, you know how he looked as a baby. You know, I thought, you know, I think for the most part, it was really good. You have to take into consideration it is from the 80s too.
Yeah.
So so
Uh, yes, regarding the fact that it's from the 80s, I would say it really was very good. I don't remember noticing anything looking too bad.
No, it was definitely a very good, a good looking. It looks like the voice of the guy who played Zombies. Zombies was played by Bumper Robinson. He's played characters in Night Court, the original series. I know that he has done a lot of voices for video games. He's been part of the Ben 10 series. I don't know if you know that series. He was Rook Blanco.
I heard of it, but haven't watched it. It's an animated show, right?
It's an animated show called Ben 10. Yes. And I guess has been. Oh, he was Sam Willis, or the in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, also known as the Falcon.
Mhm.
Let's see, he had voices in Batman: Arkham Origins, the game, Guild Wars 2, the video game, The Avengers: Mightiest Heroes. Let's see. He was in one episode of Alcatraz, which we watched that series. Oh, Star Wars: The Old Republic. Saints Row. He's been part of Ace Combat. Some of these are games, so I was just he was in Cats and Dogs: The Revenge of Kitty Galore as a voice.
Cool.
Let's see. Oh, he was part of the Star Trek online game, Avatar, the game back in the day, the video game of G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. He was in Transformers, an animated TV series of it as Bumblebee. The voice of X-Men Origins Wolverine, which I do have that game. He was Bulver Trask. Uh, and he was in the game of Transformers animated. Let's see, looking backwards, seeing where he actually first started. Cocaine and Blue Eyes, a TV movie from 1983. But he was on one episode of The Jeffersons, 2 episodes of Hill Street Blues, 3 episodes of Webster. He was on 2 episodes of Cagney and Lacey, all before Enemy Mine. So, and I guess he was on 5 episodes of the original Night Court. But he was in the original TV movie of The Spirit.
Oh, cool.
He was on 11 episodes of Days of Our Lives in 1987 and 1988 as Jonah Carver, which I'm not sure if you remember that at all, Tammy, because I know you watched it a long time.
Yes, I remember.
Oh, you remember his character?
Yes.
Ah, well, in any
So,
case,
yes.
going on to, I swear I heard a little bit of the music itself, sounding a little bit like the Never-Ending Story, and the composer was Maurice Jarre of this, and I guess he was the same composer of Lawrence of Arabia, Doctor Zhivago, Ghost, a movie called Witness. And I'm trying to see if he actually was the composer. Oh, he was the composer of Jacob's Ladder. Let's see. Looking backwards to see if. Oh, the Mosquito Coast. He was. Oh, the Bride, which is a Frankenstein version. Let's see. Firefox, Don't Cry, It's Only Thunder, Line of the Desert, Last Flight of Noah's Ark, Magic of Lublin. Oh, nope, he was not the musician of what I thought. But he was the composer of The Island at the Top of the World. Let's see, looking backwards, seeing where he first started. Okay, he first started in a short film in 1952, and it looks like he was a French director.
Oh.
So, in any case, I thought maybe because the music sounded familiar, that maybe he might have been the composer for the Never-Ending Story, but I was wrong. Because the music sounded similar the music sounded similar at moments.
Well, if they're from the same director, actually it wouldn't be surprising if the same composer was hired again.
Well, and I know that there had to have been some creature effects. Garth Innes seems to be the special effects director of the and Ron Hone. Senior technician. Okay, so there's a lot of people that have to do with the creature stuff. There's no one person that I can particularly put it under, but there are some Germans and some not. Alrighty. Well, in any case, let's go into favorite scenes and our favorite characters. And if y'all had a favorite science fiction movie so far, what would it be?
Favorite science fiction movie so far? Well,
That you have seen.
well, can I say the Star Wars franchise? I guess.
You could. Okay. And favorite character or characters and or favorite scenes?
Oh, favorite character probably zombies, and favorite scene. Whew. Well, I guess the scene of Willis rescuing zombies, although all the funny conversations between Willis and Jerry were also pretty good.
Okay. What about you, Tammy?
Um, I guess my favorite character too is zombies. Um, well, and there's a bunch of them that my favorite scenes. I mean, especially when he was born, because Willis's character too. He really portrayed all the emotion at that moment. And the moments leading up to zombies being born. I
Okay.
Oh,
think that
yes.
that whole scene there was really intense, and I think all the actors involved did a very excellent job of portraying that scene. So, and I do like towards the end, how both groups came together. The Drax and the humans, and they all came together for one purpose, um and I like how that all went down. I mean, that the fight and everything was really intense too, but when they all came together was a very big um moment, you know
Well,
if I
yeah,
want to
because
say.
humans and Drax were fighting for years. So finally, when they come together to save zombies.
Favorite science fiction movie?
Yep.
Um, the original War of the Worlds.
Whew,
Okay.
hoot.
I would have to say my favorite characters were in between um, Jerry and zombies. Because zombies growing up was fun, but a lot of the scenes between Jerry and Willis were interesting. Like I like the one where he's like, "This is my left foot. This is my right foot. This is both my feet, and this is my head." And he's like, "No, that's your ugly head. No, that this is my head, and that is your ugly face." So they have a lot of coming to moments where um, they have to learn to get together, be together, and get together, even though the Drac is pretty much he's pregnant since the get go. So I think
Actually, yeah.
that's part of the reason why he doesn't lift a hand to help him. Um, but also he needs to learn to survive with him, and I think it's a coming of age movie that was way ahead of its time, where even the Drax could figure out how to live peacefully with humankind. You know,
Oh,
at the end of everything. But I do like the rescuing of zombies, and ultimately when the slaver does ultimately get his comeuppance. So, and to see the Drax come together with the humans at the end was pretty cool. And then to
yes.
to hear the singing moment. Actually, this is one where I thought that Dennis Quaid showed some of his acting ability, because when I think my favorite moment of all time in this movie is when Jerry explains to him that the words have to be sung, and when he sings sings in Drac, and you can see in the eyes of Willis that it is a very beautiful scene for him to see the setting of the suns on this planet, but also to hear the Drac sing. It is a beautiful moment for him, you know. So to me, I think that part scene is my favorite.
Fair enough. It was a nice scene.
But my favorite science fiction movie will always be Forbidden Planet first, and then Killer Clowns from Outer Space second.
Oh, we never did the second one, did we?
There was no second Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
You said that one. I'm sorry.
I said it
I
was my second favorite.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
That's okay. But in any case, hopefully you ladies and gentlemen out there have enjoyed our discussion on Enemy Mine. It was enjoyable to talk with you about one of my favorite films. And I would have to say this would be my third favorite science fiction movie, next to War of the Worlds, and I would have to say Tarantulas. And then, of course, Frankenstein. I always forget Frankenstein, the original Frankenstein.
Fair hoot enough.
But in any case,
I like all those too, but I could do without the killer clowns. But I like all the rest.
Killer Clowns is always going to be a triple threat for me. That's got horror, comedy, and science fiction all wrapped into one.
I can deal with killer clowns. I can deal with it, but it's not on my list.
No.
You know what else has horror, science fiction, and comedy?
What?
Bunny the Killer Thing.
That's true. That's another one of my favorites.
I'm sorry, Tammy. I couldn't
That
resist.
one's definitely not on my list.
But I think Boris, you actually liked that movie.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did find it funny.
But in any case, like, share, and subscribe. Let us know down in the comments what you thought of the film, what you thought of our discussion. And I guess next week we're coming back to, is it you, Boris?
Actually, it should be me, but I actually need to say something. By the end of this month, on August 21st, August 22nd, August 28th, and August 29th, I have some exams I have to take, and I need to study really hard. So I think I'm going to need to skip 2 times for the rest of this month. Now, actually, I'll be available the last Sunday, which is August 31st, I think. But I'm not sure if you two want to do 2 movies without me, that's fine. Or if you want to take a break for 2 weeks, that's fine too.
I think I'll go for the break.
We'll go for a break. So next week, ladies and gentlemen, we're taking a little hiatus, and then we'll come back the following Sunday. So
no, 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks, because I really have to study hard
Well,
now.
We'll go for a break, and then we'll do, and then the following Sunday. Well, I guess we'll do a 2-week break.
Well,
Cool.
if
Maybe I
you
can go to a Sunday show for once.
well, if you are really okay with it, like I said, if you prefer to do 2 movies without me, that's also perfectly fine with me.
I know,
No,
but
I don't mind the break, and it'll give me a chance to maybe go to a Sunday show because I only go to Saturdays.
and it'll give you
Ah,
some time to come up with some more choices. So come up with a list of movies that you want to do. Write down a
true.
list of movies. A list.
Don't
Ah,
give him
So
any more homework.
I'm giving him I'm giving him some homework to come up with a list of movies, and then you can choose from that instead of always trying to think of one.
Actually,
All
that's not
right.
a
Well,
bad
then
idea.
I guess we'll get together in 2 weeks. So everybody have fun.
Yep. Have fun.
Yeah, have fun.
All right. So
Good luck with what you need to do there.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to need that because I've been studying these days, but I've been really struggling to focus because of all sorts of things I'm dealing with. So yeah.
Okay. Well,
alrighty.
just do what you need to do. We'll be here.
Yep.
Thank you.
Everyone's say good night.
Good
Good
night.
night, everyone.
Inside movies galore, just makes you just want more. We've had all in the world of media to explore. Horror, anime, or Curious George. Our love of new things was our reward. It is the best night of our week.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.